We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. With my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. With my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how a nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how a nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They flaunt that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, somewhat between who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. There's an empire, fuck a boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, I stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah, hey, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like, oh well, oh well. Yeah, oh well. We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. But my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah.
You already know this is about to be stupid.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, this a new range, new page. Got me in a new country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on them drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller.
How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. There's no comparison, black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send him my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Dropped an investment in Silicon Valley. All of this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they break in the chassis. King of the grass like a Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors got labels as testing.
How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me.
How about the range? Whoa. Yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
All you ever wanna do is play. So let's play.
Yeah. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Rilla mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode.
Stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke,
Yeah,
Rilla
hey,
mode.
well, we can hold the peace or we can wage war, but I'm gonna get what I came for. Rilla gang, that's a crew name. We all graduated to the two-door. Sacred Global, that's an infrastructure. All y'all niggas like the Titanic. I'm the iceberg, talking no Zucker on the front lines, but we don't panic. Shit getting messy, got nothing to rest in. I'm tired of niggas, they frontin' they blessings. They want my suggestion, but don't want the fee. I'm just doing me, I don't answer their questions. All this flexing, got no one to see. All this aggression, I just want some peace. Not even sure that I like it in heaven. I guess when we get there, then we gon' see. I do not understand, I do not get what you do. You only got one life, but you act like you got two. Yo, we go bigger than what you are willing to do. I run with king, but you peasants, you run with the goons. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Rilla mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode. Hey, y'all some jokers, y'all a bunch of clowns. You will not get a laugh out of me. You can talk, but you can't denounce. I live a different theology. Why I transferred to a new account? You just fucked over a prodigy. Posted up with a rented crown.
You are the king and apology.
You about to see a new side of me. I hope you know. We stand up and watch our enemy go. Empire fall, my legacy grows. I might just hop on this melody flow. All this vision, no clarity though. Y'all play a game that I bear in my soul. Ebony ivory, nobody knows. Business vasectomy, nothing can grow. Everyone promises more than they actually do. We don't deliver on anything other than truth. Yo, we go bigger than what you are willing to do. I run with kings, but you peasants, you run with the goons. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Rilla mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode. I said stay woke, Rilla mode. Stay woke, Rilla mode.
You really have people fooled out here, don't you? When are you peasants gonna learn that you can't pretend to be a king? It ends today.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Woolworth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 30 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, bustas, hustles, and yo-hos? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is brought to you as powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all the
fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All right, fam. Hashtag Swole season for a chance to win today's Swole card. It is Accountability Monday, so we are going to go over some awesome Swole fam posts. We will take some questions in the Knowledge Cock portion, and we'll give away this Swole season card at the end after we go through some new releases in the Swolenormous app. So welcome everyone, and of course, hit the like button, subscribe. We are live on YouTube and Rumble, The Daily Swole, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and of course, join us over at swolenormousx.com if you want to join the Swole fam today and get access to the amazing app and everything that we have inside Swolenormous X. Hashtag Swole season. Drop in the comments down below. Now let's get into that tip. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, fam, I hope you enjoyed those Swolosophy episodes over the weekend. Enjoy. If you did not catch them, you can catch them after today's show. I think you'll get a lot out of them. If you did, drop in the comments what you thought. And of course, if you're on Spotify, you can also drop a comment on Spotify. And I do check those out a couple times a week, so make sure you comment if you listen on Spotify. This week, for the Swole text, I asked members improving which pillar of the 7 has made the biggest impact for you lately. Explain why. So, of course, it's hard to ask which is the most important pillar because they're all important. And if you miss any one of them, of course, you're going to have issues. But which lately has been the biggest difference of what you're improving and why? How has that made an impact? The first one today is from Aaron, and Aaron says, pillar number 1, community. Since joining the Swole fam, but also measuring other communities, I have heightened my awareness of how I operate and maintain my peace. While I'm in school and have classmates and other people that I have to deal with, I have some control over how much I deal with them outside of that. I'm learning how much I value keeping their drama out of my life, whatever it may be. I also got back into martial arts and really enjoy the small yet encouraging community that has so far been amazing, which keeps me looking forward to going. Of course, once I graduate from my program, I'll be returning to this pillar to do more filtering out of everything and anyone that won't keep me progressing upward, as there's always work to be done. Wisely said. Good for you. Glad you're getting into martial arts. And of course, community is absolutely essential. And like I mentioned before, every pillar is always being worked on. Each one is very important, but which one have you been working on lately? Which one have you been working on that's been the most impactful? Because like I always say, sometimes you're going to be working on a certain pillar, and that's going to be one that you have to focus on. You might not have to focus on nutrition every week. You might have your nutrition on lock, or you might have your training and you're not really doing too much with your training. You're just staying the course and being consistent with that. Maybe you have your sleep or your meditation. All that stuff is locked in. But, you know, in Aaron's case, community is something that he's focusing on more in the short term. So you could drop in the comments down below if you did not respond to this text yet. You could also respond to the text afterwards, and we'll get to them tomorrow or the next day. Danny says mindfulness, which is pillar number 6. Being mindful of my surroundings, my stress level, sleep patterns, and exercise and nutrition have really helped me mentally and physically. Well said. Jeremy says, improving my nutrition, pillar number 2, has made the biggest impact. Poor nutrition was making my asthma symptoms worse, which was causing problems in the gym and leaving me low on energy. Cutting out sugars and other toxins and eating real food has allowed me to function in the other areas of my life. Well said. Joe says, the one I'm working on the most that I believe will make the biggest impact is consistency. This has always been my biggest struggle, and I believe it is the reason that I haven't always gotten the results I want. And yes, if you're doing the first 6 pillars, but you're not doing them consistently, you're going to get intermittent results. So of course, pillar number 7 is paramount after hammering down the first 6. Pillar number 7 is doing the first 6 every day, right? Michelle says, hey Bish, recovery has made the biggest impact. Pillar number 4. Completing yoga on a daily basis to get the blood flowing and releasing most of the soreness after the previous days. Weight training has been a game changer. And Mike says consistency, pillar number 7. It has helped me develop a routine that I can rely on when other things in life have gone to shit. It sends me to the gym daily to center myself. Well done. Good stuff.
I gave it a 10. A 10. A fucking 10.
For those of you that might be new overall, maybe you're new to listening, make sure you go to swolenormousx.com and download your free copy of the 7 Pillars. There's the list on the right, but of course, there's a lot more to it. So when you download the 7 Pillars, you get the full Beyond 7 Pillars ebook. You get all the details in the 7 Pillars themselves and an audiobook. So you get 3 downloads when you download the 7 Pillars. Available over at swolenormousx.com. So make sure you check that out. All right, let's get into some questions, some knowledge cock. You can start dropping your questions if you have them in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwole. Of course, here's an image of the amazing Swolenormous app that we released only a couple months ago, available in the App Store and Google Play. That's where all the Swole fam is congregating. All the amazing content over at swolenormousx.com is available there, but now also available in the all-new app, which you can access, and you can download videos offline. If you have spotty internet, you can watch your yoga or your Swolga or your master classes anywhere, anytime. Just download them to the app. You can also comment in the community section, post up pictures and videos. You can schedule workouts, custom playlists, which is fantastic. You don't have to search. Of course, we have an amazing search function in the app, but you can have a playlist of your go-to programming that you need. Maybe you're doing Maximum Swole and you want to have everything right there. You don't want to go into the program section. You can have your own specific playlist or master classes that you want to use and whatever. Stream it to your TV, journal in the calendar, in the 7 Pillars journal. So there's a lot of awesome features with the app. Make sure you download it. Available now in the App Store and Google Play. And if you're a member and you haven't downloaded the app, how dare you? You should go and do so today.
How dare you?
And of course, it's the same part of the membership. So when you sign up over at swolenormousx.com, you get access to the app. It's the same login, same username, same password, and you have it all in one place. So absolutely awesome. All right, let's get into some questions. If you have questions, drop in the comments down below. Pam says, did kids yoga with my grandson again. He does so good with it. He loves it. Fantastic. The kids yoga is great. Kids yoga is great. There we go. That was nice. All right, first question from Instagram stories. From Chris. Chris says, what do you think, Papa Swole, of apple cider vinegar? Do you think it's useful at all? Do I think it's useful? Well, yes, I think apple cider vinegar is useful, but I'm not sure how you mean. Apple cider vinegar is one of those things that has 1,000 uses. You could use it for cleaning. You could use it as a facial toner. You could use it on your skin, believe it or not. You can wash, you can cleanse and sterilize the countertop with it. You can use it in your bone broth. I use a tablespoon or 2 to leach vitamins and minerals from the bones when I'm using bone broth. In terms of taking a shot of it, I don't like using that. It's not good for your teeth and it's just unnecessary, but it's a natural anti-acid and stuff like that. But if you have acid reflux, you should be looking at your nutrition habits to solve that issue. You shouldn't be having acid reflux and then just taking shots of apple cider vinegar. However, that's probably a better option than taking Prilosec or one of those other things, but you should be going to the source of why you have those issues. So I think apple cider vinegar is totally fine for various uses, but I personally don't really use it much in terms of taking a shot of it. Usually that's where people are asking, hey, do you think taking a shot of apple cider vinegar is going to help me lose fat or this, that, and the other? No, I don't. But apple cider vinegar does have a lot of uses. And there are whole PDF files and stuff of all the different uses for apple cider vinegar. It's one of those things that your great grandmother used apple cider vinegar for everything. And if you want to use natural cleaners in your house, that's a great option too. You can look into that. John says, what is it with these non-lethal plastic gun on ads lately? What is the utility in matters of life and death? I prefer lethal stopping power. I guess it's for people that don't have a concealed carry or they're not allowed to have, there's some states where you're not allowed to have a firearm, which is horrific. And maybe certain states where there's really restrictive laws, that's the next alternative. I suppose. Although I think it should be constitutional carry everywhere. I've seen those guns where it's like a beanbag or something. Personally, if I'm going to pull out something and fire it at someone, I want it to have the most stopping power. And if they're breaking into my house, I don't care if they get bruised. I want them to be, I'm fine if their head gets blown off. If they're breaking into my house and threatening myself and my family, I want something that's the most effective. But of course, look, if you're I'm just saying there's other side effects of using a firearm. Let's say you live in an apartment complex and you fire at an intruder. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but of course, if you miss and it goes through the walls, you're responsible for everything that comes out of your firearm. So even if you kill the intruder, it goes through the person, goes through a wall and hits someone next door, you're liable for that person. So again, whether it's right or wrong, the problem with our society, I would say necessarily the problem, but the problem, I mean, I guess an issue with our society is that it's very litigious. So if you kill someone next door, even though you were stopping an intruder, you're responsible for everything behind your target also. But I still think if you're breaking into someone's house, if you're breaking into someone's house, you are forfeiting your life. You really are. You made that decision. So if you leave in a body bag, that's on you. That's just my take on it. But yeah, I've seen those non-lethal guns. It's hard enough to stop someone with a legit firearm, let alone a beanbag gun. But don't forget, you know your terrain. In your house, you know your terrain better than anyone. So a baseball bat might be the best thing. Some people say, "Oh, get a shotgun." Shotguns are brutal, and it depends on the quarters of your house. It depends on what your setup is, because it can be hard to maneuver a shotgun to just point and blast. If you have a lot of turns and tight quarters, it's not easy. You have to really, it doesn't matter what the weapon is. Let's put it that way. It doesn't matter what the weapon is. You need to be trained with it, and you need to know how to use it on your turf. So no matter what it is, train with it so you can be the most effective with it. If anyone else has any thoughts, but I've definitely seen those firearms, or those fake firearms, I would say, before. 15, Chavez. Papa Solio, why is the best exercise for biceps? Why? What is the best exercise for biceps? There is no best exercise for anything. Progressively overload it and you'll benefit. But I would encourage all of you to utilize something where you're targeting the biceps more in the lengthened position. And the lengthened position is not going to be doing an incline curl with your arms back. That doesn't stretch the biceps anymore. But what I mean is stressing the biceps or putting the most tension when the biceps is more lengthened. So something like a preacher curl. So any kind of standing curl is fine, or a cable curl. You could face the machine, you could face away, so there's more tension at the bottom of the movement. But a preacher curl will do that also. And the reason why a preacher curl is great, and it's a classic exercise, if we're just talking free weights, preacher curl machines are great too. But you want to make sure that there's more tension when the arm is more extended. And preacher curls do that because when you're lifting, let's say, a dumbbell or a bar, you're going to be moving more against gravity vertically when you're in the lengthened position rather than standing up where the tension will be at the top. YSHY. Papa Swolio, I recently started going to the gym because of you. How do I stay focused? Well, by going every day and prioritizing around the gym. Get on a quality program and execute. If you need help with those programs, if you need a program and you need a community and all those 7 pillars, this is why we're talking about the 7 pillars today. You need to join SwoleNormousX.com, surround yourself with amazing people that have similar goals and can help you. So you're going to stay focused by prioritizing it. What do you want to do? What are your goals? And how are you setting yourself up for success? And then stick to it. It's not complicated. So I'm glad you started going to the gym. But like I always say, everyone starts going to the gym. Everyone starts a, quote, weight loss journey. People start all the time, but they don't continue and they don't do it every day. So it's very important that you execute and you keep showing up and you have a plan to do so. If you're just going to the gym because you feel like it one day and you're waiting to feel like it, you're going to be one of those people that goes a few times, like New Year's resolutioners, and they just stop. I think we're going to take some. I think we're going to go on Instagram for some questions. Let me see. Ask Papa Swole. So drop your question in the comments. We'll pause for a second. I feel like taking some more questions today. So let's go on Instagram. Mark says people are starting their summer transformations now. Yeah, it's March. People are going to try to make amazing changes in what 2 months? So keep on dropping your questions in the comments. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. Sheena, let's see. Sheena says, since I can't get a pistol permit, I have a Ruger 22 rifle I keep for home defense. We also have an AR-15 and a 12-gauge shotgun. Yeah, definitely better off using the shotgun or the AR-15 more than the 22, but it's good to have a 22. It's good to have some long range. Very cheap ammo and stuff. 22s work, but you're gonna have to pop those off pretty quick. I wouldn't use a 22 for home defense. However, if you hit the person in the eye, that works. That works. Okie dokie. Alex on YouTube, Papa Swolio, what do you think is the worst habit anyone could have besides poor diet and lack of exercise? That's a good question. I don't think there is any kind of worse habit. It depends on the context, I would say. Besides I guess, anything that's opposite of the 7 pillars, I guess sleep. Terrible sleep. Terrible sleep or not getting sunlight. Sunlight is so important, but sunlight is oftentimes going to be dependent on your sleep. So getting quality sleep, getting up early, going to sleep early, waking up naturally. So sleep, I would say, getting poor sleep is probably the worst habit. That's going to have the most issues. That's going to have the most side effects. Cerny, Papa Swolio, on a 2-to-1 pulley ratio, I'm not understanding how much weight I'm actually lifting and don't understand how it works. Yeah, I think that's going to be tough depending on the machine. So the more pulleys you have, the lighter the weight's going to be. But it doesn't really matter what the absolute weight is. You might be able to get some device that can gauge and tell you how much weight you're pulling. Don't they have those things for towing? They have those for the tensile strength. So I guess you would have to manually test it. But the more pulleys, the less, you're not lifting. It assists you lifting the weight. What the actual math is, I don't have it on the top of my head. But the only thing that matters is what you're doing for the reps and adding more. More is more. More is more. So whether you have 2 pulleys or 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 or 4-to-1, and let's say you're doing 6 reps, adding a little weight and getting 7 reps, or more weight is more weight relative to that. So as long as you're adding weight and you're adding reps relative to what you're doing last time, that's really what you have to pay attention to. The same thing is with a plate-loaded machine. Plate-loaded machines are different depending on the strength profile, right? Where the tension's the greatest. That's why some machines are better than others. But more weight is still better. More weight is more weight. That means you're progressively overloading. So whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what the absolute weight says. So if it says 40 pounds, but it's real feel, it's actually 26, does it matter? Because whatever you're doing, you want it to be more moving forward. So whatever the number says doesn't really matter as long as you're moving more resistance over time. So as long as you're able to add weight, what the legit number is isn't really the most important thing. Because if I'm doing weight on a machine and I put, let's say, X amount of plates on it, I know that's the weight I'm putting on the machine, but how much weight my chest is getting at a different part of the strength curve. As the weight moves up, it's more horizontal, then it's more vertical. So that weight literally on my chest is going to be different through the curve, but more weight is still better. More weight's more weight, if that makes sense. All right, drop your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. If you're watching on Instagram, you can catch the full show on Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole. We're just taking questions, so drop your questions in the comments down below. And we're only going to be on Instagram for the question portion, so drop your questions. Storm Machine 97, Papa Swolio. I've been researching a lot about sleep and hear different things. Is there a difference between circadian rhythm and sleep cycle adaptation? Yes, I would say. Sleep cycle adaptation. I would have to get the definition of both of those, but circadian rhythm is just the natural circadian rhythm of, I would say, humanity and of the earth. So sleep cycle adaptation, do you mean just getting used to going to sleep at a certain time? We're meant to go to sleep when the sun goes down, to wind down red light, and then to wake up when the sun comes up or slightly before. So that's the way it should be, and we shouldn't have to have alarms and such like that. So usually varying your sleep, even as much as half an hour, can mess up your sleep cycle. So this is why changing the time on Sunday, like yesterday, is a big fuck. We should just keep the time the way it is right now, keep it this all year round. It's really a mess. It's really a mess. And people seriously dramatically underestimate how much of a negative impact it has on people's health. The daylight saving switch time it's a terrible, terrible thing. It shouldn't be changing. It's awful. John says, lack of commitment, I'd imagine. They would never ascend in life with anything. Not discovering who you are, strengths, and weaknesses is a death sentence. That's right. Space Shuttle Door Gunner, correct. Best home defense isn't necessarily the firearm, but being trained with it. Exactly. So a lot of people have guns, but they don't know where they are, or they couldn't access them quickly, and they wouldn't be able to use them with proficiency. So if you have a firearm and you don't train with it, it might actually be more of a risk. Because remember, if you're carrying a firearm but you don't train with it and you get into some sort of confrontation, that firearm is a risk because someone else can grab it. Or if it falls out, or if you're wrestling with someone or something happens and then your firearm comes loose or they can access it. So you have to be really careful. And if you're going to carry or you're going to have a firearm, a lot of people have firearms and ammo and stuff, but they don't train properly. So it's not much of a weapon or self-defense if you don't know how to use it and you don't practice with it regularly. Some people just have one and then feel good. And it's like, I have one. Well, most people don't realize what a high-stress situation is and how all your training, and if you're not trained for high stress, you'll just forget. You won't react properly. You won't react and you'll freeze up. A lot of people do that. The most important thing to understand is that if you're drawing your firearm, you're using it. You don't draw and expose your firearm and do that unless you're going to follow through. So the most important thing is to avoid situations where there's going to be conflict. If there is something that's kicking off and people are starting to leave, get out of the situation. You don't need to be a hero. This isn't a fucking movie. You want to get out of there. Run. If you're at a bar or something and people are starting to brawl, just fucking drop some cash, pay your tab, and just fucking leave. Leave. Just get out of that situation. It's not worth it. Alex, Papa Swole, if daylight savings were to be abolished, would you prefer permanent standard or daylight time? I forget the difference. I think standard, right? That's what this is. Isn't this permanent standard time what we're on now? Whatever makes it not dark at like 4 o'clock. I always forget the difference. I'm assuming now, just leave it the way it is now. We don't need it to be light at 5 a.m. You'll wake up. It's okay. It's great to wake up before the sun comes up. You have a whole day. It's great. It's a nice, peaceful time. But having it get dark at like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock is just brutal. So I'm by the equator. So even when when it gets darker earlier because of that time change, it's still dark at like 5:30. It's still too early. So whatever it is now, it should be this way. Just this way. Keep it this way for sure. Much better. JC Solis 72. All right. Good question, but I'm going to give you an answer you probably don't want. Papa, we need nutrition tips for guys over 40. What do you think this is? Do you think your body is completely different just because the number just changes from 39 to 40? I don't know what people think the human body does after 40. I don't know why that's like some kind of seismic landmark age. I'm 41. I eat the same way that I did when I was 39 and 38 and 37, probably even better. So nutrition tips: eat a lot of protein, eat real food, do an elimination diet, train heavy, lift heavy weights. I mean, the same nutrition tips I would give someone who's 25, I would give someone who's 45. Zechik Carlo, Papa Swole morning routine. Wake up, go get sun. Wake up, get sun, touch grass. So first thing I do when I wake up is electrolytes and magnesium and creatine with water, with either water, or and I also mix in maybe some protein powder. Go outside with the dogs, get sun, water the plants maybe. This is what I do. I'm making sure I'm getting electrolytes first thing in the morning. That's the most important thing. Everything else after that is downhill. I make sure I hydrate, electrolytes, and get sunlight. That's the first thing I do. Everything else depends on the day. Dewey says, I'm 41. I eat way better now than I did when I was younger. If anything, I wish I took care of myself better earlier. Brendan Walker, what shampoo and conditioner do you use? A good question. I think it's called Pure Zero. It's a good brand. You want to make sure you're not getting phthalates and parabens and toxins in your shampoos and conditioners. Same thing with laundry detergents and dish soaps and fragrances. You want to make sure you're getting rid of all petrochemicals and estrogenics, which is a huge undertaking when you're new and you realize that your deodorant's toxic, colognes are garbage, everything from polyester in your house to the plastic shower curtains, all the chemicals in toothpaste and mouthwash and all these different things. You know, it's much, much simpler to be healthy, especially if you're eating properly and you're sleeping well. And the same thing goes with shampoos and conditioners. You got to really make sure that you're getting good products that don't have all these synthetics in them. We got some really good stuff coming, by the way. Really good stuff coming for Swolenormous and for papaswolio.com. We got a lot of new stuff on the way, so moving into some other products. So hint, hint, we're going to have some good stuff going. You're really going to like it. Stuff that I use and stuff that I personally have concocted that I use that we're going to be putting together for certain products. So it's going to be exciting. You're going to like it. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any questions on Instagram. But keep dropping your questions in the comments. If you asked earlier, I don't see them. The text is small, so make sure you drop it again. Who does my braids? This one's Mama Swolio. Mama Swolio does dope braids. Mama Swolio does dope braids. Really good stuff. It's Deepak 711. Papa Swolio, how to reduce muscle soreness? Time. So reducing muscle soreness, if you're already sore, is really just time. You could foam roll, you can stretch, you could do sauna and stuff, but really it's just going to take time for whether it's the muscle spindles or you have metabolites that have built up that has led to the soreness. But really what you want to do is make sure when you're training for building muscle, you want to provide the stimulants and minimize fatigue. And that might be leaving a rep in reserve. That might be doing less volume. That might be programming more properly. So you're training more frequently, but you're doing less volume. So you're able to recover more effectively. It's normal. Like for me, I did full body yesterday. I feel kind of sore. Like I feel it in my shoulders, just like a dull ache. My quads, all my muscles kind of feel like a little bit tight, very slightly. I wouldn't really even call it sore. Just a little like a dull ache, but I'm going to be recovered enough to train hard again tomorrow. And it's really important to understand your exercise selection. That way you're mitigating and minimizing soreness, because soreness is not something that leads you to muscle growth. It's generally good. If I trained yesterday, I did full body yesterday, and I trained really intensely, I'm glad I feel the muscles that I trained yesterday. So I'm not against feeling sore, but if you're feeling sore to the point where you can't stay on your program, then your programming sucks. You should not be sore all the time, and you should not be sore in a muscle that you're going to train again. That means you did too much and your programming is off. So if you're training chest tomorrow and you're really sore still, you did too much. You're not ready to train it. You need to adjust your programming. You don't have a good program. You're doing too much volume, whatever you did, or you did a novel exercise, you did too many sets. You're not supposed to be sore, and you shouldn't be sore all the time. If you're on a solid program, you really won't be sore. And when I say sore, I mean for like a couple days. You might be feeling it the next day, but you're not going to be crazy sore. I used to train to be crazy sore. I used to train and fuck my body up and do drop sets and all these crazy workouts, and it was pretty much just a challenge to see how much I could take. And it was just, the more you beat up the muscle, you're breaking it down and then building it back up, which isn't how it works. But it was really about how much tolerance you could have for a brutal workout. And a lot of it was like, you're feeling good in the gym, you're crazy pumped and all this stuff. But if your weights aren't going up, if you're not getting stronger and you're not able to add weight or add reps, then you're not building muscle. So a lot of people train to be sore. They train for the pump. They train to beat themselves up, but they're really objectively not training. They're objectively not progressing. And if you look at the numbers and you look at your strength and you see that you're not making constant progress over weeks and weeks and weeks, you're just spinning your wheels. You're just beating yourself up. So reducing muscle soreness starts with proper programming. All right, Alex Pompasolio, what are the most important habits for children to get into? That's a great question too. Same thing as adults. Same proper habits as an adult human. So what are the proper habits for an adult human? And the adult human passes that on to the human child so they can learn. Proper sleep. I would say for children, sleep, the importance of sleep and nutrition. They have plenty of time for training and resistance training. But if they understand why and why it's important to eat properly, and they're using red lights at night, not a lot of screens, they're getting real quality sleep, they're out playing in the sun and all that stuff, that's really the most important thing for a child. That's going to help them learn, that's going to help them get energy out, that's going to help them in all aspects. So I would say the most important habits: sunlight, proper nutrition, sleep, and learning to think for themselves and teaching them how to acquire information, how to sift through bullshit and acquire facts and truth. Good question. John, for me, Maximum Swole provides a functional soreness, ? LOL, so grateful I don't cripple myself anymore. I don't know if you meant to hit the question mark, John, but I don't know what you mean by functional soreness, but I kind of know what you mean. So again, for me yesterday, so I did upper, lower, rest, and then I did full body. So yesterday I did one set all out for each body part. And even for my chest, like I don't feel sore, but I feel like if I move my arms out, like I don't feel tight. I know I did it yesterday. So I know I did chest yesterday, or biceps or triceps. There's certain body parts that when I do, let's say an all out set, certain body parts, I'll just feel a little bit more than others. And like I've always said, some of you are going to have that too. You're going to have certain body parts that even if you do the same volume across the board, you are going to have certain body parts that just incur, for lack of a better term, more quote damage than others. So for me, doing one set across everything, I kind of feel a little bit in my quads. Not really glutes, triceps. Triceps get sore for me pretty easily. My biceps don't really feel sore. I did preacher curl. Like the body part that I feel the most, I would say, is probably my triceps. But you're going to find that certain body parts just might feel more sore, even if you do the same intensity and the same type of volume across. There are certain body parts that you just might feel a little bit more sore from in general. So again, that might lead to, hey, if I know that my triceps will tend to get a little bit more sore, maybe I leave a rep in the tank so I don't add additional fatigue, and then maybe I don't get as sore and I still make the same progress. So you have to gauge that yourself. If you have certain body parts, maybe you leave one RIR rather than going to failure, for example. Good questions. Rihanna Nicole. Papa Solio, don't forget water, electrolytes, and magnesium or Epsom salt baths. That's good too. Magnesium, glycinates, fantastic. Electrolytes, very important. Barry J. Anderson, Mr. Anderson. Papa Solio, which creatine loads to choose from? Is monohydrate the one? Monohydrate's great. Just get a micronized creatine monohydrate. There are a lot of brands, but the thing is, most of the brands are going to be the same. They're just going to have creatine monohydrate. They might have CreaPure or a different branded name for creatine, but it's pretty much all the same. what you don't need are any of these crazy flavors. You don't need flavored creatine. You're just paying for artificial sweeteners and stuff and flavors. You're just wasting money. And you might have upset stomach, or it might disrupt your gut biome from the artificial sweeteners and things like that. You don't need creatine, hydrochloride, or any of these like ethyl ester creatines. These are just, I don't want to say gimmicks. I'm not saying they don't work, but you just don't need it. You don't need to load. So get a quality creatine that's third-party tested, that you trust, that you like, that when you use it, you feel good, your stomach feels good, and then just stick with that. I don't know anyone that's tried a certain creatine and it felt fine. They tried a different one. Wow, this is so much better. Creatine's creatine, and you're getting it in food. So as long as you find something that you like, that you could stick to, that's affordable, that just stick to that one. You don't need anything fancy. Troy Buff on Rumble, Papa Swolio, how do I best deal with a sprained wrist? That's rough, but what I would say is, depending on what kind of lifting you're doing, a sprained wrist may or may not be a strong hindrance. You can get wrist wraps to stabilize your wrist when you do exercises. For some exercise, I'll use that just to add a little bit more stability when I'm targeting my biceps, or I'm doing, let's say, a JM press. I'll use wrist wraps just because I don't need to be stressing my wrist to that extent. When I'm doing JM press, I'll lock it in, makes it more stable. I'm trying to focus on my triceps anyway, so I'll use wrist wraps in order to create stability, so I could target the muscles that I'm trying to. But if you have a sprained wrist, like where it's really painful, you might have to just opt for certain exercises that avoid aggravating it. But again, when it comes to a sprained wrist, you really got to figure out why that wrist was sprained and then strengthening it properly. So maybe a bucket of rice is good, just to move in all different directions to aid it in recovery. All right, Tiff, Papa Swolio, what does a plank row actually target? Whenever I do them, I feel like I'm working more abs than arms. Would rows be as effective? Rows would be much more effective. What are you trying to accomplish with a plank row? I'm not saying there's no application, but it's definitely going to be more. It's going to be abs and arms and everything else. So if you're trying to target your back, ideally you want to get a chest supported row. We have all sorts of exercise in all the programs, but again, when it comes down to the most effective exercise for specifically building muscle, sometimes you're doing stabilization, sometimes you're doing more endurance. So there might be applications for some of these training protocols. But if you're doing a plank row and you're holding in position, that's just more of like an endurance coordination combination. It's not really ideal for focusing on muscle hypertrophy. So rows would be more effective, especially if you're supported. So either using your hand for support or against a bench, or doing a chest supported row is much better to target your back musculature. I do maximum swole, and I'm training for hypertrophy, and I never do plank rows. I've done them before though. Papa, so I've been drinking Soul water. What's Soul water? With pink Himalayan salt. Have you ever tried that? I don't use pink Himalayan salt, but salt is good. You want to make sure you get a salt that doesn't have a lot of like heavy metals and stuff in it. So I like Celtic sea salt, Redmond real salt. I have another couple kinds of like kosher salt and stuff that I kind of use all in conjunction all around. But remember, electrolytes are sodium, potassium, magnesium. So you want to make sure you're getting all of those, and salt doesn't have all of it. So you need to add some other things to it. Salt is great. Most people need more salt, but you want to make sure you're getting your potassium, magnesium too. Joe, Papa Swolio, so there isn't an advantage to Creapure. I don't really know technically what Creapure is, to be honest. I'm not a supplement manufacturer, but I don't know why Creapure would be specifically trademarked or what's unique about it versus something else. Maybe it's just the processing form of it. I don't know the details of what Creapure is. I just knew that off the top of my head. I'm sure it's totally fine. A lot of times you'll see creatine monohydrate on the back. Will say, 5 grams, 5,000 milligrams, creatine monohydrate, parentheses, Creapure. So it really depends on where they source it from. Maybe Creapure has some sort of manufacturing specific manufacturing type, or maybe it's micronized or whatever. So I'm sure it's fine. Dust Off Bravo 4. For me, with creatine, I went from 8 grams down to 5 and feel much better. So you're taking 8 grams a day at one time. You could also split it up. You could also do twice a day. You could do, if you're, because I think most people should be taking 5 grams of creatine a day, but you can take 2.5 and then take 2.5 and 2.5. There's no rule saying you have to take it all at once. So if you want to take 2.5 in the morning and then mix 2.5 in with your electrolytes and stuff when you're training, that's fine too. Because really it's about getting it in regularly every day, and then your body will top off and then saturate with creatine. So you don't need to load. You don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Joe says, neither do I. It was being pushed on me by a friend who swears by it. But Creapure, that's not a brand. Is the brand called Creapure? Because that's just, a lot of creatine companies just use Creapure. So it just depends on where they source their creatine from. Most of these companies, they're made, I don't really want to say like one factory, but most of these things, they just get them from like China. They get bulk, massive amounts of creatine, and then they mix them locally, or they mix them in the United States in some sort of, there's some big nutrition companies that will source, and then whatever you want in your product, they'll source it. They give you a price, and then you can put your labels on it, and then you ship it. So, because I've looked into making supplements and stuff like that, it's just a very saturated market. And if you're trying to get into selling supplements, and if I wanted to sell supplements and things like that, it just depends on the demand, and it depends on, the amount of pieces and the quantity that you're ordering, right? You do a lot of volume, you can decrease your price. So it really depends on where they're being sourced from. But Creapure is just a type of creatine. I'm not sure what makes it technically Creapure and why you're able to label it a certain way. I'm not sure if it's the processing or how it's created, or if there's something actually special about it, but it seems to be pretty standard, because I get a, creatine monohydrate, and I think it says Creapure on the back, but it might just be standard creatine. In other words, creatine monohydrate's totally fine. Pooches, any tips on accelerating hair growth? I used to have epic long locks like you, and I got a random urge to cut it. I regret it ever since. I want it back so bad and fast. I've been using jojoba oil. Yeah, I do have tips. That's something that working on putting together, actually. So yeah, I got some stuff for quality hair growth. But I will say here that it's very important to focus on your nutrition. So nutrition is really everything when it comes to hair, skin, and nails. Upping your collagen is very important. So it could be collagen supplementation, could be making your own bone broth with ligaments and things like that, getting a lot of collagen in. So collagen is very important. All right, any other questions? We're good with Instagram stories. I think we're out there. You can boo me for cutting it if you like. I can boo you for cutting it if you like. Oh yeah, can I? Sweet. I'll get you Matt Damon too.
Matt Damon. Make me happy.
You went full retard, man.
All right. So I gave you a little bit extra. The crowd wanted it. Gave you a little extra. You've been using biotin and collagen too. Good stuff. Nunu Ham, do you take business questions? Sure, drop a question. If I have an answer, I'll give you an answer. If I don't have an answer, then I won't. Or if it's something that's proprietary, maybe I won't give you an answer directly. But if I have something, or happy to answer anything. I mean, you can ask questions on anything if you want. It doesn't have to be fitness related. If I don't have an answer or an opinion, I won't give it to you. Sazzy D85, tips for building up to strong woman competitions. Ooh, we got the best person to ask that would be Lacey. Is Lacey here? I don't know if Lacey's here today. Tips for building up to strong woman competitions. I would join a strongman gym. There are a lot of gyms out there that, have Atlas stones and all these different devices and they focus on that. So if you join one of those gyms, they would be totally down to help you get started. And I know a lot of people are intimidated to go to these powerlifting gyms or to join a strongman gym because I'm not strong yet. But if you go to a gym like, hey, I want to get really big and strong and I want to start doing competitions, they're usually gonna welcome you with open arms and be totally down to get you on a program, or hey, we do group classes, or we have a seminar this Saturday for people that are looking to get started. I would find a local strongman gym and go there. They would definitely be totally down to get a new person in and get you on board. The idea that when you go to a gym or you go to a powerlifting gym or a strongman gym, that if you're not at their level, people are going to be like, oh my God, this person's so skinny or weak or blah, blah, blah. And they're going to, most of the time, it's inside your own head. You feel nervous because you don't have the skills yet. But anyone that has those skills, you want to pass it on. You want to help other people. Like, hey, I really want to be a strongman like you. How do I get started? Yeah, come on by. Come join and we'll help you get started. It's a big myth. It's a big myth. Like I'm here every single day and all my content is go to the fucking gym, get started. I'm happy to answer questions. If they're really dumb, lazy questions, we kind of troll them because dumb, lazy questions are usually spouted by people who aren't really going to take action anyway. But if you're serious about getting started and someone owns a strongman gym and you have a new member coming in like, hey, I really want to get into strongman training, they're going to be all about it. That's the best thing to do. Appreciate the question. Ooh, good question. Let's see. Matt, Papa Soy, if you shake it more than twice, is it really considered playing with it? How many fingers are you using? I mean, for you, probably like this, right? You're probably just like pinching, right? You're just shaking it. You're probably only using a thumb and a finger, right? So it might be, I mean, for you, it might be considered playing with it. Swole Sama again. Strongmen want anyone to show up. They usually scare people off. It's just intimidating. It's just intimidating for a lot of people. You go in and there's guys, but they're totally. No one starts off strong, right? No one starts off strong. I mean, some people are naturally just big people, but everyone has to start somewhere. Nunu Ham, do you use QuickBooks or recommend? I personally don't use QuickBooks, but I'm sure some people do. I have a great accountant who handles my stuff. So, I mean, QuickBooks or Bench or any of these different there are online bookkeeping companies. You know, you link up your bank accounts or, either you have an individual person or QuickBooks yourself. I mean, it'll walk you through. It'll tell you everything you have to do. Bottom line, you just need to make sure that you're doing it accurately. So whether you do QuickBooks and you have a tax accountant or something that looks at those QuickBooks and confirms in e-files for you, I'm sure QuickBooks kind of does all that for you. But any of these other bookkeeping companies, because a lot of them are digital or online, and they have apps and stuff that kind of keep everything organized. And then you need an accountant. So they'll categorize and classify your P&L and all this different stuff. And then you send it to your accountant and they put in the numbers, this, that, and the other, confirm things with you, and then can e-file it for you. So it really depends on, I would say, how much volume you're doing and what you're comfortable with. So some people like to use QuickBooks, but after a while, it might get to a point where QuickBooks just isn't right for you. But for most small businesses, it's probably a good place to start, just my opinion. There's a reason why people like Microsoft, like major companies, they don't use QuickBooks because it can't cover all the stuff that they need to classify. So I would say it depends on if you're doing all in one and they're submitting it for you within the app and it tells you, hey, print this out, do this, e-file. Do you want us to e-file? Hit submit or whatever it is. Otherwise, you just categorize it with other apps or bookkeeping companies, and then you have an accountant who gets the data after the export, after you have everything classified and categorized and this, that, and the other, and then they do it. I've never personally used QuickBooks, though. Lakers Jr., what's your take on dairy or raw milk? I love raw dairy. You need quality. So raw dairy is fantastic if you have access to a quality raw dairy. This whole narrative that raw dairy is really bad for you, it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. I've been having raw dairy and raw liver and raw heart for fucking years and years and years. You know, I've never had a problem with fresh, high quality food, raw eggs. I've done all sorts of stuff over the years and I've been totally fine. So, and there are great places where you can get raw dairy. You can go realmilk.com, and in the United States, realmilk.com, and you can put it in your zip code or whatever, and it'll give you all the places in your area that sells raw milk. And it could be a farmer's market, it could be a store, it could be something that you didn't even know, it could be a co-op that's local that gets it from a couple farms. You go and you pick up once a week. There's a lot of stuff like that out there. My ES3, why do you not eat veggies? I have no desire for it. I find no benefit from eating vegetables. I get all my nutrients from high quality animal sources. I eat fruits though. I mean, fruit is a plant food. And I'm not saying I never eat any kind of vegetables. Like Mama Swole will sometimes make stuff with like some sauteed mushrooms and onions and I feel fine. So there are certain plant foods that I'll consume. I like pickles, like fermented pickles. Aren't cucumbers a fruit technically? Whatever. But anyway, there's a big misconception that you have to eat everything under the sun, right? People will sell these powdered products where it has like, 1,000 different things at 1 microgram, like, you know, a little sprinkle of apple, a sprinkle of blueberry. You're drinking these powders. It's just eat a little bit of fruit, meat, dairy, like you'll be fine. You don't need crazy variety. That's the biggest myth. You don't need crazy variety. What you need are bioavailable sources of the vitamins, minerals, and proteins and fats and carbs that are not going to cause you issues and inflammation and chronic inflammation and stuff like that. So you have to test. This is why we do the elimination diet. Because the way I eat might be different than the way you eat. You might have an issue with fish or chicken, or maybe you have some sort of rare allergy or something to red meat, which is unfortunate, but there's gonna be certain things that you have an affinity to and for that work great with your gut biome and everything. And then some things you won't. That's why you got to test these things and fine tune. Yeah. When I get raw dairy, it says for cats and dogs only. So here's the deal with that. Some states, I'm not sure if it's across the board, but a lot of you order raw dairy from places like Pennsylvania and stuff like that. If they sell it in state, it could just be raw milk. But if they ship it outside the state, it has to say for cats and dogs only, which is ridiculous. So they have to sell it as, quote, pet food. So that's the legal, you know, detour around. You can't sell this to humans directly. Okay, well, I'm buying it for my pets. Okay, cool. That's fine. I do give it to our pets too. I mean, Rufus, they love kefir, they love yogurt, they love all that. If I have some leftover like raw cream in the container, I let them lick it. Like they love it. They love it. That's true, Alex. Bullshit. Mama definitely just makes chicken. Chicken's a vegetable. So whenever she makes chicken, I'm like, I guess I'll have vegetables tonight. Jarella says, I've used QuickBooks Pro Desktop in the past for years, and it's great. But yes, you need an accountant too, depending on your level of accounting knowledge. Yeah. See, for me, I don't want to deal with any of that shit. So I have like, you know, bookkeeping apps and stuff that kind of categorize everything at the end of the year. I go and I make sure everything's categorized and this, that, and the other. And then my accountant gets it. And then we talk and just make sure that the numbers are correct. Like, hey, do you have anything else that you, for equipment, this, that, and the other? Oh yeah, I did this. And he'll add that and tweak things and adjust, you know, because it's more or less accurate. Sometimes in your bank account, it might not be clear what it is or it's categorized properly, or you might have categorized it wrong, right? You put it here. Oh, that's better over here. You can save more on taxes if you make this a XYZ expense, and like, oh, I didn't know that. That's why you get an accountant. So I still think you should have an accountant, just so you make sure you don't do something that you shouldn't, or you make a mistake. It's a wise investment for a business. The last thing you want is a couple years down the road, something comes up and you have like a surprise bill because you forgot to pay something or whatever. John Fernandez, budget for your nutrition, cut out expenses, even if you need to downgrade your vehicle for a lower car note. In my opinion, everything is secondary to what I eat. I 100% agree with John. You know, I own my cars and vehicles outright. I don't want a car payment. I never do. It's so nice not having a car payment. And then if you want, you can just sell your car, throw another couple grand towards it, and then buy cash like a new used vehicle. That's just my personal choice. Of course, for some businesses, you can buy a new vehicle and then it's a big write-off, this, that, and the other, but I don't really want a newer vehicle. I don't want something that's all GPS and electric, and I don't know. I don't want all the, how should I say it? I don't want the speed of I don't want everything sent. I don't want all the data being trapped. I don't need something new. I like ignition. I don't want a push start button. It's just not my thing. I want to have a car with, I want to use some fucking gas. I want to use some fuel. I also personally don't drive enough for it to matter. So for me, having a used car is great because it'll hold its value, and I don't put many miles on my truck. So I'm gonna have this truck for like 20 years for sure. I usually don't get new cars. I have no desire to get like a brand hair. I don't want to. You get something new and shiny, and then you're trying to make sure it stays that way. I don't really care. I want it to be functional. I want to be able to throw something in the truck bed when I need to, and that's it. Positive charisma. I've been on the fence about QuickBooks, but our business is taking off, so for this to come up is perfect timing. Yeah, I just never have used QuickBooks, but I don't think it's bad. I just think more people would be better off having an accountant that you trust, that you can cross-check, that can do it for you. And it's really only going to cost you a couple $100 for them to file things and do it all. Then you know it's done correctly. Because your accountant's going to know what you can and can't get away with, or what would throw up a red flag. And, you know, if you want to refile and file as a corporation, that way you can save more money. You're not getting double taxed and all that kind of stuff, you know, getting paid out as an employee, all those different things. And your accountant can guide you as to like the best plan of action. Rihanna says, I love getting eggs off of some people I went to school with that are local. Been debating on how much we can squeeze on a quarter acre, like a garden, chickens and goats for fresh dairy. You could do a lot on a quarter acre. You can do a lot. You could definitely have a few chickens if it's legally allowed. You don't need more than a few chickens for eggs and stuff. If they're having eggs every single day, you know, 4, 5, 6 chickens at the most, and you'll get plenty of eggs. After a while, you're just going to have eggs all the time. So you wait a couple days and you have like a stockpile of eggs, and you're having 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs every day coming in. You don't need much space for that either. Miss Texas Fit, Papa Swole, if I have, Kylie is all about those hamstrings and glutes lately. Let's see. Papa Swole, if I hit hamstrings on Saturday, rested yesterday, can I hit quads today, or too soon to hit my lower body again? Well, it depends on the volume and your recoverability. So if I hit hamstrings on Saturday and I was training them again today, I'd hit hamstrings again today. But it depends. If you did heavy, like stiff leg deadlifts or something that made them really sore, train them from a lengthened position, you may not be able to hit them 2 days in a row, or 48 hours. So you could totally hit hamstrings again, but it depends on the movement. So you could hit quads today. Hamstrings and quads they're not the same, you know? So if you're doing hack squats or something, you're not hitting hamstrings. If you're doing leg press, you're not hitting hamstrings. But you can be so sore in your hamstrings that it might compromise your joint integrity, but you should be totally fine. But you could be hitting hamstrings today also. But when you say hit hamstrings on Saturday, if you did 2 sets or 3 sets, you're not going to be recovered enough. Ooh, I like that. Dust off Bravo 4. What you eat in private, you wear in public. Facts. Kylie says, I was asking because I know with lower body, a lot of the other muscles can support each other, so just wanted to make sure I wasn't overdoing it. No, you're not overdoing it. What exercise were you doing? What kind of volume did you do? What kind of audio were you doing? What'd you do on Saturday? What'd you do yesterday? So for example, if I did heavy hack squats or heavy leg press, like a linear or Smith machine squat or front squats or elevated heel barbell squats, you're getting adductors too. So you're getting the posterior portions of the adductor magnus a lot. So that can be a concern, like adductors. But if you did hamstrings on Saturday, you could do leg extensions and adductor work like an adductor machine because you're getting more of the anterior fibers of the adductors. So it really depends on the exercise selection. But if I did hamstrings on Saturday, I would do hamstrings today, but I would have only done 1 set for hamstrings on Saturday. And if I'm trying to do hamstrings, because remember, you're going to use hamstrings do 2 different things, and there's a few muscles of the hamstrings. So you have the semimembranosus and tendinosus, and you also have the biceps femoris, and you also have the short head of the biceps femoris, which doesn't cross the hip joint. So you need to do something that flexes the knee and also something that extends the hip. So that's why with a stiff leg deadlift or a 45-degree hyper with a barbell or a dumbbell, you're getting the hamstring, you're getting the hip extension component of the hamstrings, and then you add in a leg curl and you're fine. You just don't need to do 45-degree banded hypers and seated leg curls because that's more of a lengthened position for the hamstring and it might be more taxing and harder to recover from. So a good combination would be like a 45-degree hyper and then a prone leg curl, because you got the actual hip extension component or a stiff leg deadlift, and then you want to make sure you're getting the knee flexion component. Miss Texas Fit says 3 movements, straight leg deadlifts, leg curls, and hypers, 2 warm-up sets and 1 all-out set for each. So that's a lot of volume. You overdid it. When I say overdid it, I don't mean that you did it wrong, but it depends on your split. So that's redundant. So what you want to do, I mean, did you do hypers with a band or hypers with a weight? So straight leg deadlifts, leg curls, and hypers are redundant in my opinion. For me, I would never do hypers and straight leg deadlifts in the same workout. You just don't need to. So you're doing 2 hip hinges in the same workout. So again, when you're trying to minimize fatigue, you have to look at redundancy of exercises. So what I would do personally is do straight leg deadlifts on one day and then do hypers on a different day. There's really no need to do them together. You did hyper with bands. So still, even when you do hyper with bands, you're still getting some hamstrings. You're just getting a little bit more, glute. So if you feel like you're not recovered enough, would you want to train hamstrings today? Are you trying to train hamstrings again today? You could just see how it's going to be a little bit more redundant. So you might be better off doing straight leg deadlifts or hypers. Pick a hip hinge and do a curl. You did 2 hip hinges and a curl. So if you're really sore, that's why. And if you're not recovering enough, that's why. You're just doing redundant. Because just because you're using bands for a hyper doesn't mean that you're not getting your hamstrings. You're still using your hamstrings, but the leverage with the band is going to be more targeting the glute because of the progressive resistance of a band. She says, I usually hit hamstrings once a week because of the volume that I do on it. You'd be much better hitting it twice a week. Remember, frequency is more important. So if you're only hitting it once a week, I think you're leaving gains on the table. So instead of doing those 3 sets on that day, you may prefer just to do hypers and curls. And then on a different day, do your stiff leg deadlifts, and then you're getting your hamstrings twice in that week. More frequency is always the goal. So if you're only training a muscle once a week, you're leaving gains on the table. Fact. You're leaving gains on the table. I'm not saying you have to train them 3 times a week, but you want to train them twice a week. So figure out the split and the volume and figure out doing them twice a week. Jay Sanchez on YouTube, what's better, goat's milk or cow? Great question. There's two things I would look for. A2 milk from a cow. But for a lot of people, goat's milk is easier to digest because I think it's more homogenized. I think it's like the fat molecules, I believe, are smaller with goat's milk. That's why goat's milk, if you have it, it seems a little bit lighter, more watery. So goat's milk can be easier on the stomach for some people. So if it's grass-fed and finished and high quality, pick what you like. Goat's milk is really good for mimicking breast milk. So for women that have issues lactating or having enough milk, raw goat milk and camel milk are great substitutes for breast milk. Really good questions. We'll stay here a little bit longer. Dust Off Bravo, Papa Swole, if your chest day is today and leg day tomorrow, what is the airspeed of an unloaded swallow? What? Barry J. Anderson, Papa Swole, someone told me not to do squats in a Smith machine. Others have said it's fine. What do you think? Not only do I think squats in a Smith machine is fine, I think it's elite. So I don't know who told you not to do squats in a Smith machine, but they don't know what they're talking about. Smith machine squats are great. They're fantastic, actually. And the reason is because you can get amazing knee flexion. You can really adjust your body any way that you want for optimal knee flexion. And it's much more stable exercise. So Smith machine squats are fantastic. Fantastic. It's not just fine, they're amazing. It's an excellent choice. Now, all Smith machines are a little bit different. Some are better than others, but that being said, all things being equal, Smith machine squats are fantastic. Steven Smith, will you be gooning on Rumble? I am right now. I'm on Rumble and I'm gooning right now. So if you want to see the nut cam, you have to come on over to Rumble or YouTube. YouTube doesn't really like the sack cam, but Rumble has it. Cerny's like, where is it? Where's the sack cam? I need it. Everyone knows that. Members have access to the Goon Cam. That was meant as a joke, Dust Off Bravo. I get you. I get you. I didn't think it was a serious question. Is it on Only Swole too? Yes. Go to onlyswole.com. Onlyswole.com. Miss Texas Fit, Papa Swole, is it ass to grass on the Smith machine squats? So the whole ass to grass thing isn't really important. So let's clarify what ass to grass means. The problem with ass to grass is that the term focuses on how low the glutes are. And the problem is a lot of times people don't have the mobility to, with quality form, get that low. So they're going ass to grass and their back is rounding like crazy and their form sucks. The whole point of squats is to target the quads. So if you want to target the quads, it's all about knee flexion. So it's how far the knees are getting over the toes. So if you want to maximize knee flexion, you need to get the knees forward. And if you're on a Smith machine, the reason why it's great is you could push the knees forward tremendously. If you're doing barbell squats, you're going to be much more limited. So if you don't have mobility, put your heels up on like 10-pound plates or wedges. Put your heels up on a 10 or a 25-pound plate or 2 plates. And that's why people use squat shoes, because it elevates the heel. And then you'll be able to get your knees further forward. So you can use a 10 or 25-pound plate under your heels for Smith machine, and it's going to feel much better. You want that knee flexion, because the reason why that works is because you're taking the calves out of it. People generally have poor ankle flexibility, so they can't get into that kind of dorsiflexion. And if you elevate the heels, you take the stretch of the calves out of it, so you're able to drive your knees further forward. So it's not so much about how low the ass goes, it's about making sure the knees go forward. And as a proxy, if you elevate your heels and your knees go forward, your butt's going to be going lower because your knees are getting into much more flexion. So it's going to take away the issues with mobility. Really good questions. I'll keep going. Yeah, hanging dong is highly recommended. I mean, I'm not wearing pants right now, so this is why the daily swole is so popular. People wait just looking for trying to catch me hanging dong. They're trying to, if I stand up, they're trying to, catch a glimpse, which I get. Always get the dong. So when it comes to, John says, I can squat significantly lower on a Smith machine versus standard rack. My legs are really developing via the Smith machine. No more standard rack for me. I have not done barbell squats in at least a year or so, and I'm seeing much more progress. I use my squat press. I use hack squat, leg press, pendulum squat, leg extension, Smith machine. That's what I use for quads. You could do Bulgarian split squats and stuff and elevate your heel and drive your knee forward. That's totally fine if you don't have machines. And you can do Bulgarian split squats on a Smith machine. But I mean, using a machine allows you to get in positions that you wouldn't be able to get with free weights. And remember, if you understand how the quads work, what you're trying to focus on is knee flexion. So you want to maximize knee flexion. And how do you do that? You get your knees flexed. You get them over the toes. And you just have to eliminate limited ankle mobility. Cerny says, I'll be using my Smith bar to do the squats for the first time. Wish me luck. So Cerny, you might want to play around with, plates under your heels to elevate your heels and stuff. Let me recommend something for you because you're doing it for the first time. Don't push yourself anywhere close to failure. Go light. Just get a feel for it. Trust me. It's very easy to overdo it. Just keep the rep range a little bit higher. Leave a rep or two in the tank and then come back to it. Because less is more. The last thing you want is doing 2 all-out sets or something, and you're going to be sore for a fucking week. You want to make sure that you're leaving a little, especially for a new exercise like that, you want to make sure that you're leaving a little bit. And because you're able to load so much onto it, so much more than you did before, you're able to actually load your legs. So just make sure that you don't overdo it, because the best case scenario, you do like one set and you're like, ooh, you're really sore. Good thing you didn't do more, and then you could do it in a couple days. Because you want to get it into your routine. You don't want to beat yourself up. You get too excited and then you can't do it for a week, right? Barry says, the bloke who said don't use Smith said you aren't free to move and can hurt your back. However, someone at the gym the other day recommended it. You can hurt your back bending over and picking something up. You're not going to hurt your back doing a Smith machine. If you have terrible form, you can hurt your back doing anything. You aren't free to move. That's the best part about it. That's the best part about it. You don't want to be moving your back. You want to be moving your legs. You want to be moving your knees forward. You shouldn't be moving your back. So if he hurts his back doing it, he doesn't have good form. He doesn't have good mobility, and he just doesn't know how to use it. Not being able to move is the best part. Like if I'm doing a pendulum squat or a hack squat, like I can't move. Great. I'm locked in position, so let me move my feet and only focus on the muscle. The great thing about a hack squat machine and a Smith machine, for example, is that when I'm doing my hack squats, I got the pad on my shoulders, my back is on the pad, my feet are in the proper position. And then I'm just moving. I'm bending my knees. So all that weight is just targeting on my quads. I don't have to worry about balancing the weight. I'm locked in. That's the best part about it. All right, we're going to wrap up soon. Went way long on it. That's what she said. We got to get into the releases. So, Papa Swole, your last question on a Smith machine, is the foot placement directly underneath you or more forward? You're going to have to figure it out based on your mobility. I can't say directly underneath. It really depends. Is it an angled Smith machine? It really depends on like where the placement is. It really depends on your limb length and what's comfortable. But I would recommend considering elevating your heels, whether it's squat shoes or elevating on 10 or 25 pound plates. Have I considered returning to Twitch? No. Why would I go to Twitch? No one's going to watch there. No one watches me on Twitch. I don't remember the last time I streamed on Twitch. I could just add it back in there. I don't even know if do I have it? Oh. I have the, let's see if it works. I can load up right now and do like a partial stream. I don't even know if it's... Let's see. I could turn it on now just for a partial. I don't even know my login to Twitch. Let's see if this integration still works. Select category. Select category. I don't have category. I turned it on to see how fast you get banned. I never got banned on Twitch. All right, I turned it on. It says streaming. So if I'm on Twitch, whatever. I just turned it on. I'll start streaming on Twitch. I don't care. I don't even... Yeah, it says it's streaming. I don't even know if I could figure out how to... I don't even know how I could figure out logging into my account on Twitch. Are you going to go watch over there then? Whatever. I don't care if I get banned. All right. We're going balls deep. We're going balls deep. All right. If you're watching on Instagram, we're continuing over on YouTube and Rumble. Best place to watch is Rumble. The Daily Swole. So make sure you come on over there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Check the links in bio for merch, memberships, blah, blah, blah. Cool. All right. Fan-farking-tastic. Okay. You want me to go on Twitch, and you're like, no, I don't have Twitch anymore. So Alex is sitting here like, hey, why don't you stream on Twitch? No, I don't use Twitch anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Goddamn chodes. You should stream on Twitch. Oh, no, I don't have Twitch anymore. So what are we even talking about here? What do you care? I'm on Twitch now, so I'm already banned probably. All right, let's get into some releases. Who's ready for releases? Good questions. Really good questions today. Those were a lot of good stuff. See, I like those questions. I like detailed questions about training. I like specific questions. So it's excellent. I thought Twitch was only for girls who pretend to play video games while not purposely jiggling their titties. That's probably true. That's probably true. All right, new releases now available in the Swolenormous app. Here we go. Drum roll. Who wants some new recipes? Cajun shrimp kebabs. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Who likes ocean vegetables? Shrimp are the veggies of the ocean. It's like the chicken of the sea, right? Cajun shrimp kebabs. Okay. If you want to eat something and still be really hungry, get yourself some shrimp. If you want to feel not nutritionally satisfied, eat some shrimp. I'm sure it tastes good, but that's the kind of thing that you eat while waiting for your steak to be ready. It's like, oh, I'll eat a couple shrimp because I have nothing better going on. I'm waiting for the steak, you know? Yeah. You like shrimp? Anyone like shrimp? It's good. I mean, it's going to taste good. So the same type of people that are like, oh, I love shrimp. It's like, you like what's on the shrimp. If it's seasoned properly, ooh, it tastes good. Otherwise, it has no flavor, just like chicken. So shrimp's a vegetable. Chicken's a vegetable. It's all good. Speaking of vegetables, we got balsamic vegetables, balsamic chicken. Okay. All right. Another golf clap.
We choose truth over facts.
I don't know what to tell you. Balsamic chicken. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. We got shrimp. We got chicken. Settle down. Balsamic is good. I like chicken. I look, balsamic, it tastes good. It tastes good. Balsamic chicken. Look, if you're going to eat chicken, make it right. You know, make it right. Balsamic chicken. All right, very nice. Okay. And for those of you that like some real fucking food, pineapple beef stir fry. I think you like this one. That sounds like American meal right there. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Pineapple beef stir fry. You know, that's going to break down the beef very nicely. That sounds actually pretty delicious. Really good for a summer meal. So I think a lot of you are going to be like, oh shit, I never thought about that. I'm going to try that. Probably something you want to try. Pineapple beef stir fry. That looks pretty good actually. Minus the pineapple. Sheena, get the fuck out of here.
Go fuck yourself.
Pineapple's great. Pineapple's great. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. But yeah, get yourself some beef. All right, let's get into some featured classes this week. We have level 2 detox flow with sound healing with Rachel. Nice. Very nice.
I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game.
All right, sound healing. Very nice. Relaxing. Very nice. Very nice. Featured Swollen 7. Swollen 7 Core, round 6. AO. With your boy, Papa Swole. And feature workout this week is Upper Burn number 1. Upper Burn 1. All right. So we got 2 more releases. We got yoga and we got merch this week. You're going to like it. How many of you enjoyed last week's masterclass? We will be having more coming up probably next week. Make sure you go and catch up on the other ones. Make sure you go and drop a comment on those videos. I know Kylie was all over it. She's in hamstring glute mode, but you guys got to get on that glute mode. Make sure you check out the banded hyperextensions masterclass. Don't sleep on those. Brand new yoga. Here we go, fam. Any last minute questions too, you could drop in the comments.
What's in the
I will take a couple more from members and stuff like that. So brand new. One of the best times to do yoga, especially yin yoga, is at night. This class is going to be lit. A lot of you really liked the Good Night Yin wall class. The first one got a lot of positive feedback on that. So Alex is dropping another one. Good Night Yin with the wall. Get your walls out. Everyone, get your walls out. Get your wall, get your mat ready, and try this Good Night Yin with wall. Number 2.
The attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
Good Night Yin with wall number 2. That's fire. That's fire. Super dope. Super dope. Great class. Again, look at this. Look at this Venus return. It's going to feel so good. This is a great way to stretch your hamstrings and relax the feet and aid in like Venus return, putting your feet up against the wall. Even just laying down and putting your feet up is a great way to take a nap and relax for 5-10 minutes during the day. So check it out. Good Night Yin with wall number 2. And of course, if you like that class, you also have Good Night Yin with wall number 1. That's the best part about it, is they have 1 and 2. So go check that out. All right. Any last chance questions? Everyone's like, oh, I like pineapple. I like pineapple. I like pineapple. I don't like pineapple. That pineapple beef recipe, that looks really good. Don't even try. Don't even try. It's good. It looks good. Anything with beef is good. Just like with bacon. You add bacon to anything, it's going to be fantastic. Okay. Now, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. Okay? We got a new release. 20% off everything over at papaswole.com. Today, just so you guys know, today I'm rocking the throwback, old school, hammer curls, great design. Check it out, papaswole.com. But this next release, who wants merch? This next release is one of the greatest movies ever made. Great genre, an absolute game changer for a movie. Absolute classic from the 90s. Redone even better. So this new merch, great movie, but this one is the remake. We remade the movie and it's even better. It's even better than the original. It's even better than the original. Now, a lot of you, and I guess they make new all the time.
What's in the box?
But we have a new release. It is Jurassic Pump. Jurassic Park was good, but Jurassic Pump is even better. So get your tickets to the greatest theme park in the realm, Jurassic Pump. Brand new. Now available over at papaswolio.com. Jurassic Park was okay. Jurassic Pump is even better. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom into this guy. I have to zoom in. Might be a little grainy. So all the details on this is fantastic. You got the T-Rex. Look at the double bicep. T-Rex is flexing. Papaswolio fleeing the T-Rex, jacked out the window. Jurassic Pump now available over at papaswolio.com. Jurassic Park was just the start. Jurassic Pump is the future. Jurassic Pump is the Jurassic Pump. And the T-Rex still has small arms. chasing and just fucking front double bicep. It still has small arms. That's the funniest part. Jacked arms, but little tiny strong arms. It was great. I wanted this design. This is one of the designs, and no joke, this has probably been on the list for like 8 years. This is one of the earliest designs or like concepts that I had. You know, it was Jurassic Pump. I didn't know what I wanted it to look like. They do lift in herds. That would be another good. That's hard to put on a shirt though. They do lift in herds. It's gonna be cool when I can get AI to like generate dinosaurs lifting weights. Yeah. I want to do something like never skip arm day. And it's like the T-Rex. But there might be other designs because I know another Jurassic Park movie or whatever is coming out later this year. But Jurassic Pump, it's a great start. Harkens back, throwback to the original classic scene with the T-Rex. So check it out. Jurassic Pump, now available over at papasolio.com. Imagine going to the gym rocking a shirt that says Jurassic Pump. What a great lifting shirt. That's great. Classic. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Any other questions, fam? Any other questions? I know we went long today. We had a break over the weekend, but we have Swolosophy episodes. So how many of you checked out those Swolosophy episodes? They're available now on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Let's see what the titles of those episodes were. I hope you like it. It was about program design and training and cardio and stuff like that, I think. So 3228, intensity, frequency, and volume. And yesterday was integrating cardio into your program. So check that out. Check that out over there on your podcast app. I hope you enjoy. The new Jurassic Park movie is probably going to suck dick. It's been milked. Yeah, Jurassic, it's not new anymore. It's not new. It's not exciting. In 93, when the first one came out, that was just awesome. That was awesome. What a spurt of amazing movies in the early 90s. So many awesome movies. Man, you had T2. You had Indiana Jones 3. You had Rocky 4. Jurassic Park. Man, so many good fucking movies. So many good movies. Especially with like the special effects for back then. It still holds up today. Still holds up today. Great movies. Great movies. All right. So thanks for being here. All those new releases. And let's give away today's Swole card. We got Swole season. Everyone drop in the chat for a chance to win today's Swole card. Let's give this beach away. Thanks for being here, fam. Appreciate you. Swole season. Scroll your boat. Making sick gains. Getting swoller every day. And we can't complain. Scroll. Going up to the top. Scroll. We got a winner. Right on it. Jeremy Beast Mode. Congratulations. Look at you, Die Hard.
Congratulations!
Die Hard, Swole fans. Drop in the chat, landed right on it. Jeremy Beast Mode, congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card, 3230 in the subject, your mailing address and the body of the email. Good man. Thanks for playing. Thanks for dropping in the chat. Any other questions at the buzzer? You could drop it in. You could ask about glutes again. It's okay. You could ask about glutes. Anyone got follow-up? Glutes, hamstrings, adductors. We're talking about the booty, leg day, program design, anything. Anything else? Bueller. We might also, may. Let's see, what's today? Monday. We haven't announced it yet, but we may have a roundtable this week. I'm not sure. So just stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll announce it tomorrow, but it might be this Thursday. We might be having a roundtable this Thursday. So anyway, join the fam, swolenormousx.com. Just a heads up. I just realized it wasn't in the what's it called? Wasn't in the slides today, but I think we might actually have one. So we'll probably announce it tomorrow if that's the case. Alex says Kegel awareness soon. Well, we have shirts. We have Kegel shirts already. We got that already on papasolio.com. That's the first shirt I ever made was Kegel's. Underrated design. Simple, straight to the point. So let's see. Go make some gains. Go train hard. Today I got a recovery day because yesterday was full body, made some fucking gains. And we are going to have some more masterclass and stuff coming. So hopefully you've been enjoying the new masterclasses. If you didn't check out the one last week on the 45-degree banded hypers, make sure you head on into the app and definitely go check it out. Definitely don't want to miss out on all the new drops. Let's see. So we got the Jurassic Pump right there, new merch, Goodnight Yin, the new recipes, and then last week, Banded Hyperextension. So if you click on the video, you can comment. We got a few, or we got one on this one. Only Cerny commented on this? What's going on, Chodes? So this is what I want for all of you, all right? If you're watching the masterclass, take a moment and drop a comment. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think, that you watched it. Maybe, hey, I liked it, whatever it is. You can't hit, there's no thumbs up in the app. There's no thumbs up to like a video. So make sure you drop a comment. Even if you just liked it, cool. Show support for it, because the more you comment on these videos, hint, hint, the more you comment and engage on the videos, I know you watched it, and then I know you want more. You have other things that you want to see, and then there'll be more masterclass. So hint, hint, if you like content, comment on the videos so you get more of them. If you like them, comment like crazy on the videos that you like. That way we see that, and then we'll do more of those. So just a little inside scoop. So if you like it, go and comment on the masterclass. But anyway, we have a lot of great feedback from the previous ones we've done. So Cerny gets a gold star. We already know that. But check out all the new drops. Swolenormous app. Join us, swolenormousx.com. All the programming, all the amazing content, new stuff every week. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow for 32-31. Thanks for being here. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock's crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, chill. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets.